So all of this gatekeeping, I don't think it's doing anyone a service. It's honestly causing so much mental and emotional anguish for first-time parents like me. All I see on social media, this is how I homeschool my kids. The activities I do with my newborn seems pretty easy. I should be able to do that too. How is it possible to take care of your baby full-time, manage household tasks, personal admin, tending to your self-care and your marriage, and then on top of that, being able to work on the side? The boss babes that you see, they seem to be able to do it all. It is 11 weeks postpartum with my first baby, coming up on 12 weeks this weekend. I am honestly just shook at how up and down being a parent is, and now I'm starting to understand when people say parenthood is the toughest thing you'll ever do, but also the most rewarding thing, which I feel like I still have a ways to get there. I posted a video not too long ago actually about how things have gotten drastically better, and it's true, things have gotten better compared to the newborn trenches. You can watch my other videos about that. Now that we've gone over that hurdle, I'm realizing another hurdle. I just feel like people don't talk about this, and it's really frustrating to me. I know people don't share because, again, they don't want to scare people. It's hard to describe. If you don't have kids, it's hard to understand until you actually go through it. And it just all makes me think, how broken down our society is now that we don't live in villages. We don't witness and see other people in their authentic, unfiltered, unglamorized lives that you only see on social media now. I'm just realizing more and more that's so far from the truth. People talk more about marriage struggles than newborn, first year of parenthood struggles. I'm not really sure why. I would love to hear people's thoughts. Maybe it's because, at least in marriage, if you don't have kids, you have more mental capacity to process those challenges and kind of work through them together, because both of you are adults and both of you can talk through it. Basically, I have been having these emotional ups and downs, thinking to myself, how does everyone else do this? Why am I still struggling 3 months postpartum when I see couples and families on social media, or I hear about them and how they don't seem to be that stressed and how things seem to be going really well for them? Is this normal? Is this not? It doesn't seem like it's normal because people aren't talking about the struggles. Basically, I realized two things. One is, when people struggle, it is hard to admit. I think it is hard for most people to share vulnerably because, again, this whole, is it just me? Am I the only one? How come everybody else seems to have it together? So it can be very isolating in that way. Number two, people's circumstances play a big difference. I notice more and more when people have family nearby, when people have healthy family relationships that respect boundaries, that are life-giving and, respectful of your parenting style, when people have help, hired help, and they don't talk about it because I think there's a stigma or something. I don't know, I feel like people are kind of ashamed to admit that they have hired or outsourced help. So all of this gatekeeping, honestly, I don't think it's doing anyone a service, and it's honestly causing so much mental and emotional anguish for first-time parents like me who see other parents going on date nights, looking super happy, super put together, 1 or 2 months postpartum, and then you're over here, what am I doing wrong? That feels so different. I can't even imagine doing that right now. And what you don't see behind the scenes is they have a whole family team behind them. They have people, coming consistently to help out or watching their baby so they can go on a date, or they, hire a nanny or a cleaner. And I would say, especially for me specifically, stay-at-home mom expectations have also been very skewed, because all I see on social media are these stay-at-home moms who are this is how I homeschool my kids. This is how I get my kids ready for bedtime and the activities I do with my newborn. And you're oh wow, seems pretty easy. The fact that they're able to post this on social media, I feel like I should be able to do that too. And the reality is, something's got to give. There's probably 1 or 2 at least areas in their lives either they're paying for help for, or they're just letting go completely. I was asking my mom friends, how is it possible to take care of your baby full time? Her naps are inconsistent. She wakes up and fusses and cries. It's a lot. It really is more than a full-time job. And then on top of that, manage household tasks like cooking, cleaning, groceries, organizing, personal admin, getting more supplies, tending to your self-care and your marriage. So many things on top of that I'm just not even going to squeeze in right now. And then on top of that, being able to work on the side and generate income, like the boss babes that you see, you know, all the mompreneurs, you know, they run a company, they have a great social life, a great family life, healthy kids. They seem to be able to do it all. It's just not reality. I know that now. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I'm sure I'll get people watching this video being like, how could you have been so naive? But again, like I've said in other videos, my husband and I did not grow up around other babies, or like we were both only children. I never experienced like the village like living setting that I feel like would have been so helpful, really helpful for many modern day parents to be able to witness what parenting and raising children really is like, and how to navigate through all these problems and challenges, what's normal and what's not normal, just setting realistic expectations. It would be so helpful to really see in real life. This is not one of those videos where I'm gonna tell you these are the tips I would do, blah blah blah. I'm honestly just ranting at this point, just to give a glimpse into the reality of how challenging it is to not have debilitating mom guilt based on unrealistic expectations. I now know what mom guilt feels like. Is like, I'm busy like trying to cook and prep food so we can survive, but my baby is crying and wanting attention over there in the corner, but I can't give her the attention right now. Am I like setting herself up for emotional neglect because I can't tend to both things at once, and feeling like I need to be really present, giving her like full-on neural stimulation for her brain development, and thinking like, if other parents are giving more attention to their kids, am I not setting my child up for being behind compared to other kids? But I was processing this with one of my mom friends earlier this morning, and she gently and lovingly encouraged me and reminded me that, you know, they all turn out okay. Like, it's unrealistic. Don't hold these expectations over yourself. God's got them. Given your circumstances, you're already doing the best you can. You're already being a great mom. It's just hard, you know, when I feel like other people are doing so much better with their kids, and they have so much more help, and they have a better setup. I'm not here to complain. Again, I know we have so much going for us. You know, it's a beautiful day. I mean, I'm in a beautiful setting, but it's like, even now realizing, oh my gosh, it really does cost so much to raise kids. How is that going to work out, you know, for our future? And how am I going to help generate income when I'm barely staying afloat right now, just taking care of a baby and putting food on the table and showering? Also, if you can't tell, I have a stuffy nose. I had a cold these past 2 days, and the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, if my baby gets sick, it'll be even harder, when I already feel extra tired and extra just out of it and unable to do things. And I just don't know how parents do it. I'm still figuring it out. All that to say is, I just wanted to vent a bit on how unrealistic expectations based on social media and based on the lack of exposure, how skewed those expectations become. There's so much uncertainty about our future, how we're going to being able to tend to all these different areas in our lives without consistent, sustained support. Pretty quickly after we had our baby, we realized, so this is why people move closer to family. I always thought it was for sentimental reasons, like, oh, they just want to like spend time with their parents, be a family unit. That's cute, you know. Honestly, before having a baby, I didn't really have that strong a pull or a desire to be necessarily like close to our family, because we have just a lot of complications with family. But now that we have a baby, we realize, oh my gosh, I now see that so many parents move closer to family, or their parents move closer to them, because it's necessary for survival, for sanity, for self-care. Yesterday, you know, I had an appointment, my first time taking her out by myself, which I'm so proud of myself for. The ladies at the appointment were so nice and supportive. One of them was also a mom, and I asked her like, oh, how are you able to like do this job and like raise your kid? She's like, oh, my mom is at home and she's our nanny. She takes care of our kid full time. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, just like the more parents I ask, the more I realize, wow, it truly does take a village. I don't know what we're gonna do or how we're gonna do it. We love where we live. We love our church community, our setup, the culture, everything. We love it here. It's gonna be tough to figure out what our next steps are when it comes to trying to have more sustained and consistent support, while at the same time not breaking our bank account. We need to survive, and we ideally wanted more kids. But yeah, it's hard. People don't talk about this stuff, and I'm just processing in real time, hoping that me processing will help someone out there understand that it's actually a lot more complicated and challenging than what people often convey. I would love to hear from other parents, what is your support system like? Because now I realize back when I was pregnant, so many people would ask us, oh, do you guys have family nearby? And I didn't realize it was because of this. Some days are better than others, and I'm just learning everything as I go and sharing it here, hoping to help other people who might come into all this unknowingly, just like I did. If this helped you in any sort of way, please let me know. Make sure to subscribe for more unfiltered motherhood content, because I really do want to share more about what it's truly like behind the scenes and behind what you hear about or see about on social media or just in general. And I'll catch you guys next time.